If anyone didn't catch France 32, Wales 30, well, that was your mistake. Extraordinary. 17 points apiece at half-time. The French scored 2 tries. Wales responded each time. And then it looked like Josh Adams had really given Wales the initiative. With 3 minutes to go, 14-man France needed 2 tries against 13-man Wales. And 13 men clinging on for a Grand Slam. Olivan on 77 minutes. Brice Doolan on 82 minutes. I mean, I don't know what the odds were. Like, I don't know. 50 to 1, 100 to 1 that you're going to score 2 tries in the space of 4 minutes. Only France in some ways, Keith. This was just nuts.
Yeah, only France, but also like Wales have ridden their luck for the whole championship. Everything has kind of fallen their way and they needed to be able to close out the game. So their discipline under pressure, and you know, unless you're on the field, you know what that level of pressure is in those big games. Your brain they were gone, they were shattered, there could have been another couple of guys sent to the bin because they were flopping on the wrong side, they were being unbelievably cynical. But they also, they were so fatigued, some of their thinking when they were trying to play out the end of the last minute or minute and a half for the last try. It was so sloppy. I mean, so unbelievably sloppy. But I love the fact that the kick, you know, I thought they were going to have to kick it an awful lot further in France, and they didn't. They kind of tightened, having kicked an unbelievable kick on the other side. I think Penaud had on the other side to kick it into 5 metres. This was 20 metres out, and they still kept a high level of discipline. Look, it was an extraordinary finish to an extraordinary game of rugby. And France are a joy to watch. They're just, I mean, they'd still drive you mad, and they still, of course, got a red card in the middle of it, and I'm scratching my eye. And, but, I mean, it's amazing stuff. It's just, like, it is fantastic. And some of the Welsh players were incredible, like, truly incredible. But, you know, it was a lunatic last 5 minutes of rugby.
Woody, what did you make of France taking those scrums with 5 minutes to go? How they didn't tap and go, and there's like 90. I was watching. It was 90 seconds it took for the scrum to take place when they've got 5 minutes to go. I was like, "What are you doing?"
Well, it's only in the last 6 months that people have started tapping and going again. And you mentioned earlier on that there's a kind of rotation. The more you forget, you know, there's new things happen, but they happened 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. Tap and go, you control the ball. You know, I couldn't get it, couldn't understand what they were doing. But I felt they were all shattered. This is a fit French team, the fittest I've seen for quite a while. They're younger. I think they have a higher work ethic. I think Sean Edwards has been, I'd say he's drilling them into the ground to get them to think the manner in which he wants them to do it. I do think they're fitter, but they were shattered as well. Some of the thinking in the last 10 minutes was just, you know, was way out there, you know.
Sorry, Joe, just finally on that, it's really interesting, and I saw you guys talking on Virgin, Joe, about, you know, Ficou's line, and it was magnificent. But for me, it was actually his work rate. If you see the second or the last ruck that happened before it goes to the pod and out the back to Ntamak, he's actually loitering in behind, and then he goes off camera. So he busts a gut to actually get out and become the 3-on-2.
Right.
He doesn't do that, they don't score. So whatever about actually getting out there and making a good decision and squaring George North up and throwing a good pass and then a second good pass, to actually be out there was, for me, the difference between the two teams. And probably he doesn't get the credit for doing that. The easy option, because defensively, some of the Welsh players were really struggling to get into the line, could have worked harder, massive fatigue. He had to be feeling huge fatigue, but he still managed to get there, and he still managed to pull the trigger on a great decision, a great pass, and that's the margins at the top level.
Yeah. Just one very last point, and sorry, time is totally gone against us completely. Fabien Galtier was complaining about the Welsh, and even the Paul Williams read, he said, if you watch the Welsh players, it feels like they specialise in making sure opponents get red cards. Their body language is quite clear. I hope the referees take that into consideration. If you watch the video, he's talking about the red card here, there's clearly no contact. Sorry, if you watch the video, there's clearly contact. I don't know what the hell he's talking about here.
He wears very funky glasses. I'm not quite certain he can see through them. But look, he can't see what he's doing, but he has his hand around a player's head. and you can see the pressure that's in around his eye area, you know. So
it's funny. Keith Ronan was saying on the coverage that you know, if the right referee at home, you might get away with that still in the top 14. So that's maybe why that behaviour is still a little bit there. Yeah,
well, look, it can't be in the game, so you can't, and it won't be a short. The referees or the disciplinary group will not be taking into account that this isn't he isn't making any contact, because it looks like he is.
Chris Ashton got 10 weeks for that, for something similar.
Right. Okay. Well, Fabian reckons not even a red, so there we are. So Friday, Scotland 21 points plus. We'll talk about that over the coming week at some stage. There's just so much going on. Clock is against us. I mean, my only regret, Brian, is that frankly we haven't been able to spend 10 minutes analysing O'Gara and Sexton in the Breakfast Club.
One of the greatest ever pieces of content I've ever seen. Genius. The fact that both of them literally could have been in the movie, like. One of my real favourite flicks as well, The Breakfast Club.
Not anymore.
No, not anymore. But it was nice while it lasted for the 42 years. But it was outstanding. I laughed out loud. My wife was really wondering what the noise was from upstairs, and I was busting my backside laughing when I saw it when it came in, and I couldn't wait to get it out to the masses as quickly as I could.
Keith, I know you're not a social media man. Have you seen this?
Do you know what? You're going to be Brian will be entertained by this. I have not seen it. My wife mentioned it to me, but I've never seen Breakfast Club.
Oh, for God's sake!
Well,
I knew that would upset you, but no.
Well, you don't know what you're missing. Go and watch it on Saturday. You've got a Saturday off.
This is the way to watch Breakfast Club in this 2-minute clip. We'll send it on to you and be interested for your thoughts on what's going on. Fellas, brilliant stuff. Thanks so much. Brian O'Driscoll, Keith Wood. We'll talk to you again.